Hi, my name is Jamie Rozak, and I am here to go through with you the procedure for setting up OBS Studio with Zoom. So I'm thrilled to have you. I am the music director for Most Holy Trinity Catholic Church in Saco, Maine. It is part of Good Shepherd Parish, which is a parish of several churches um, in the southern Maine area. Um, so, like many of you, we had an issue or a problem or a dilemma when our governor shut down essential businesses and religious gatherings in our state. We did not know how we were going to reach our parishioners. We had never had to stream before or never had done anything like that before, so we had to quickly get mobilized and find a solution. Luckily, this is something I had actually been looking into through another job that I also hold. I had been using this in meetings with that company, so um, we put together a plan and started using this now. Um, we do it a little differently than you're going to be doing it. You're going to be using OBS with Zoom. We use OBS to stream directly to Facebook. Um, Unfortunately, OBS does not stream to Zoom, it outputs to Zoom. So we're going to walk you through doing that. And when we're all said and done, I can also show you how to set up streaming to YouTube or Facebook or Vimeo or any other streaming services that you might be interested in doing it. But for this video, we're just going to work on configuring this for Zoom. So I'm going to bring up my slideshow here. And if you haven't figured it out, I am using OBS Studio to do this presentation. It's going to be a little wonky sometimes because I'm going to show you my OBS Studio configuration. I tried to bring up another instance of OBS Studio and I just didn't like how the video looked, so I'm redoing this. So you're going to actually kind of get to see me using OBS Studio and how it works. So first things first, there are some things you are going to need. There are some needed materials for OBS Studio. Um, First of all, you're obviously going to need a computer. There's no way around it. You're going to need a computer um, in order to do all of this. The next thing you're going to want is an audio interface. Now, this is something that connects to your computer through a USB or FireWire interface generally. It allows you to connect instruments and microphones to it. And let me see if I can switch over to my other camera here. I can give you a quick look-see at my setup here. Okay, so and by the way, this is another cool feature of OBS Studio. I'm actually streaming my iPhone video with this right now. So this is an audio interface. Um, this is a Focusrite Sapphire audio interface. It's a little bit older. It's USB 1, but it works fairly well. Um, there's much better interfaces out there than this at this point, even by Focusrite itself. So there's other newer models. Um, so this has two inputs, and this is both they're both microphone and TRS, which TRS is just an instrument cable jack input um, that you can use to plug in instruments or microphones. So you can plug into microphones, to instruments, or a mixture of the two. And it's got some preamps and other controls in here that allow you to record audio into your computer. There is also a Behringer mixer that I have used in other places that works fairly well for this. So, and maybe I'll throw a link to that in the description if if I remember to before after I upload this. So the other thing you're going to need is OBS Studio, and you can download that at obsproject.com/download. So let's bring that up there. So OBS obsproject.com/download. So let's head on over there and we're going to download that right now. Um, so if you go, if you're already there, you will see download OBS Studio, select your operating system. So this is available for Windows, Apple, and Linux devices. I have a Windows device, so I'm going to choose that. And if you're, uh, I would recommend just downloading this first option. So hit the download installer. It's going to download. And when all is said and done, you're just going to, no, there's something in the way there. I don't like that. Why is that there? We're just going to go ahead and get rid of that. Sorry about that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and click the installer. It's going to ask you if you really want to do this. Hit yes, go through, hit next. Now, I obviously can't do this because I've already got OBS installed, but just go through the installation prompt. And once it's installed, why don't you pause the video right now, install OBS Studio, and then unpause the video when you are all set. So I'm going to assume at this point that you have installed OBS Studio. So now the next thing we want to do is install OBS Virtual Cam. Now, OBS Virtual Cam is a piece of software. It's a virtual camera that allows basically it's a software camera. It allows OBS Studio to output its video feed into Zoom. So basically, the camera that you're seeing here now, or any other video that's being displayed in OBS Studio, will be output virtually to Zoom. So, and it'll make more sense once we do it. So why don't we get that downloaded? So we want to go to this website. So it's obsproject.com/forum/resources/obs virtual cam 539. Now that's a monster of a address. I don't expect you to remember it. I will put it in the description. Don't worry. Okay, so let's go over to that page. Again, there's the web address. And there's a lot of information on this page. You can ignore it. Just hit the go to download button. It's going to download it for you. Once it downloads, we are just going to go ahead and install that. So it's going to ask you if you want to allow the app, and you're going to say yes. Accept the agreement and hit next. Now on this screen, it's going to give you two options, whether you want to install the plugin and register 4 virtual cameras, or install the plugin and register only 1 virtual camera. Most likely you're only going to use one, but let's just leave it at the default option. You know, that makes this scalable in the future for you. So go ahead and make sure that's selected and hit next, and then hit install. And go ahead and pause the video and wait for once it installs, just go ahead and unpause the video and we'll continue. So the next thing that we need to do is download a virtual audio cable. So yes, we have a virtual camera and now we need a virtual audio camera. I'm sorry, a virtual audio cable. So that is going to be located at this website here, www.vbaudio.com. So I'm just going to give you a moment to go there if you have not done so already. And I'm going to bring that page up for you. You're going to go over to Audio Apps right here and scroll down a little bit. Ignore this download button. You want to go over here to VB-cable A plus B. So unfortunately, you are going to have to pay a little bit for this. It's not much. Go ahead and hit the donate button. If you can find a virtual audio cable that does not cost money, then feel free to let me know and we can modify this. But this works fairly well, and I like it. Um, so you can donate whatever you want. I donated $5. Um, so go ahead and choose that. Add to the cart. Proceed to checkout. It's going to ask for your payment information, and then in a few minutes, once the payment processes, you will receive an email with a link to download the software. Um, so once you get that, just go ahead and download it, and you will be good to go. So the next thing we want to do is go ahead and install that. Um, so I'm going to walk you through that. So once you get that downloaded, you are going to have a zip folder, a zip file called vbcable a_b_ driver pack 43. Just right click on that and choose extract all. So, and then you're going to hit the extract button. And then it's going to bring up the extracted files. So now you will have two folders, an A and a B folder. So we're going to start with the A folder, open the A folder, and then we can ignore all this, scroll down and look for vbcable_setup _x64, right click on it, run as administrator. It's going to ask if you want to allow the app to make changes. You're going to say yes. And then it will bring up this window. Mine says remove driver because I've already got it installed. Yours will say install driver, so go ahead and install it. Once it's installed, we are going to go over to the B folder and do the same thing. So scroll down to vbcable_setup x64, right click, run as administrator, say yes to allow changes, and then hit install. And once that's done, it's going to ask you if you want to restart your computer. I suggest you do that, so go ahead and bookmark where you are in this video, restart your computer, and get that all set. So now that you've rebooted your computer, the last thing we need to do is install Zoom, which I'm guessing most of you have already done. If you have not, then you're going to want to go over to zoom.us/download and just grab an instance of Zoom. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm over to zoom.us/download. We're going to download the Zoom client for meetings. Hit download, install, and then you should have Zoom up on your screen. Okay, so the next thing we want to do, now that you've got all of those things installed, let's go over the flow here, how this is going to work a little bit. So, and I messed up my PowerPoint a little bit here. I apologize. My flow is not going in the correct direction here. So, what we're going to be doing is using those virtual audio cables and setting up some connections. So you're going to use your cable A output from OBS Studio, which is going to input to the microphone in Zoom. Okay, so it's going to go out from OBS Studio to the microphone in Zoom. then likewise, if you are in a Zoom meeting with other people and you're going to want to hear them, and you're recording this with OBS Studio, you're going to want to capture the audio input from Zoom. You know, the output that would normally go to your speakers, you're going to want to take that into OBS Studio. So you're going to take your speakers, and we're going to set it up so that you can capture that audio in OBS Studio so that you can have a full recording. So this is confusing. Let's just get away from the technical stuff and let's just do it. Let's set this up. So you've downloaded OBS Studio, you've downloaded OBS Virtual Cam, you've downloaded the VB Audio AV cable, you've downloaded Zoom, and you've installed all of those things, and you have rebooted your computer. So now what we're going to do is configure our video. So what I want you to do is launch Zoom, and you're going to go up here and click on the gear. Then we're going to go over to the video tab here. And what I want you to do is select this drop down. And you probably have a web camera in here. Now you'll see I have OBS camera and then OBS camera 2, 3, and 4. We are going to select OBS camera, and nothing is going to pop up, and that is fine for now. We don't need anything to pop up at the moment. Whoops, sorry about that. We don't want anything to pop up at the moment because, well, it's not configured to do that yet. So you'll have a gray screen. So once you have OBS camera selected, you can go ahead and close that out. And then we're going to go ahead and configure OBS Studio. So that is our next thing, is configuring OBS Studio. So what we're going to do, and let me bring up this display here for you. So now I'm going to throw in a voiceover here because for whatever reason I had a setting in OBS Studio that was not correct and it killed our sound. So I'm going to take over here with the voiceover. I want you to go into OBS Studio and go to up to that tools menu you see right now and choose virtual cam. And we're going to leave the default settings alone. So leave auto start checked, the rest of those unchecked. And you'll see the 4 cameras here. Just choose the first one, OBS-camera. And then you're just going to hit the start button. And when you do that, this virtual camera will start outputting to Zoom. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to move a few things around here so it's easier for you to see what's going on. I'm going to move that over to that screen. I'm going to close this window. And then I'm going to bring up the Zoom display, which is on this other screen. Okay, there we go. So now you can see that the OBS camera is outputting to Zoom. So you see that whole screen outputting to Zoom. Great. So we have a picture. So congratulations, we're halfway there. So the next thing we want to do, now that we've got that set, is we are going to, yeah, I don't know why I put this in the slide again, just to aggravate you more. Yeah, then sorry about that. So we're just going to skip this technical nonsense, and we're just going to move on to the next step, which is configure your audio inputs. So in OBS Studio, you are going to go over to your settings. So let me bring up OBS Studio. Yeah, I did it again. Here's a voiceover. Go over to OBS Studio, hit the settings button. Okay, and this is where we're going to set the outputs to that virtual cable. So hit settings, go over to the audio tab, and then you're going to see a devices section with a bunch of options. I want you to go to mic auxiliary audio. It's currently disabled. Hit the drop down and choose cable-A output. Okay. And then right below that is mic/auxiliary audio 2. Just go down to that, hit the drop down, and change that to cable output B. All right, we're going to go ahead and select that. All right, and then also on this page, we're going to go over to this advanced section here where it says monitoring device. Now, I have headset earphones set. I would highly suggest that you also use a headset to avoid any feedback or anything like that in the room. So, you know, if you have to use a speaker, keep it at a low volume. Otherwise, just, you know, try to use a headset. That's the safest way to go. So we're going to just reselect that, hit apply, and hit OK. Great. And so if everything was working, if I hadn't messed it up to begin with, you'd see the levels moving up and down with the volume of the sound. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go over and change the scene again in the hopes that maybe the sound comes back. It's not going to work, but, you know, whatever. So I'm going to go over here in the audio mixer and click the gear. We're going to right click the gear and choose advanced audio properties in that menu that pops up. And here we're going to set our audio monitoring. So you'll be able to hear in your headphones that headset that you chose in the previous section. We're going to set both of these to monitor and output. And at that point, you should be able to start hearing sound in your headset. And here I am frantically again trying to figure out why there's no sound and it's just not happening. But don't worry, things will work. I promise you. This was me not knowing where my head was at that time. I'm about to figure out what's wrong. So while I do that, I want you to go over to Zoom. And here comes the audio. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Zoom again. Go to the audio tab. And this is where we really got to be careful. So your speakers, this is anything that would be coming from the internet into your computer. So you want to output this to OBS Studio um, so that if you're recording it, it will be picked up. So you're going to set this to cable B input. Your microphone, this is coming from OBS Studio. This is the input into Zoom. Set this to cable A output. And then the last thing you're going to want to do is go down here to this advanced button and check this show in meeting option to enable original sound from microphone. Zoom has some audio settings that some limiters and gates in it, which can wreak havoc on music and other audio outside of just the spoken voice. So you're going to want to disable all those features. So check that box, and just to be safe, anything that can be disabled on this screen here, do it. So suppress persistent background noise and suppress intermittent background noise. And then you can just close that. And you know, the thing is that if you do have problems with background noise in your audio feed, there are ways in OBS Studio to add some gates and limiters and compressors and things like that to help clean up the sound a little bit. But right now, the intent of this video is to just get you up and running. And if you know, at this point, you should be there. So let me show you really quickly um, the OBS Studio interface. Again, you see my headphones here, which I'm also using as my microphone, so that's why you see the audio mixer working here. Here's the mic aux inputs. Over here are some scenes. So this window here is kind of a preview window. This is what you are seeing on your screen over here. So let's say, you know, something's going on over here, and now I can go over here and make sure that, oh, my PowerPoint isn't where I want it to be, so I can set that up. And once it's ready and it's time, I can go ahead and do a transition, and there you go. So, different scenes can have different media and different settings in it. I'm currently on this big display, which is just a display capture of my monitor, and I've got an audio capture of my headphones. So that's how you're hearing me. Um, you can also capture web pages, which I did earlier. Um, there is the PowerPoint window over here that I had. So you can do a lot of things with OBS Studio, and the sky's the limit. Just play with it. Um, and I think you'll be pretty happy with anything that you could come up with to make things more successful for you and your church. If you have any questions regarding the setup or more advanced setups for this, feel free to reach out to me. Um, I'm more than willing to help in any way I can. I hope this video wasn't too confusing for you and it gets you started. I know that there are other setups and questions that you're going to have, so feel free. I'm going to try to do another video from my church in the next couple days to show you how we're set up over there, so you can get a better idea. Um, this video is specifically for those of you that are kind of pre-recording or even streaming live to Zoom. Um, from home. So we are lucky enough to have a sanctuary that's spread out enough so we can have a music minister and myself and our priests in the same spot and able to use our sound system to have some fairly high quality audio going into our feed. So if you're blessed enough to be able to do that like we are, I will do a future video that shows you how to do that. So until then, God bless and good luck, and I hope this was helpful.